Welcome to NFL Prop Picks, powered by The Blitz. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. Thanks for joining us here. Primetime game. No Thursday night. That's good. A little break. But Friday must go on, Derek. More Saturday games. And how much more work do you have to put in Week 18 just to figure out usage? Because it's like how much of it is guessing, because like just even in the Saturday games, you know what I mean? Like teams are 20-point favorites. If they're up, number one running backs shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's like in Week 18. There's a lot of moving pieces. You have teams that have something to play for. You have teams that really don't have something to play for. But then even for those teams, you have to figure out, okay, does the coach just want to, get them some reps anyway for the playoffs? Is he going to rest certain guys? What's going to happen? Okay, the team needs to win this game, but if they go up big enough, are they going to pull guys? Like there's so many moving parts in Week 18 that you have to consider. So yeah, it takes a good deal more than most weeks to figure everything out. And even then, we're still looking at projections that are more fragile than usual.
Not everybody's Dan Campbell running Jahmyr Gibbs into the fourth quarter. Like I couldn't believe that game. And it just goes to show you the variance in what the difference between Coach A and Coach B will do in terms of where they are. So obviously some big games on Saturday. That's why they're there. Let's get to the early one. Cleveland, Baltimore, 20 points. How do you handicap game script with 20 points? But it's funny to handicap it because Cleveland doesn't have any skill players right now. Like when you're like, ooh, even Michael Woods is out. You're like, wow, this is really barren in terms of it was already a bad passing offense. I don't know if you have Bailey Zappi as an upgrade over DTR, but I don't know. Like Njoku's out too. Like, where do you go with this?
It's tough because Cleveland has like nobody.
And they're on running back 4. Like Dante Foreman's the guy.
Yeah, and Baltimore has plenty of incentive to win this game, but it really shouldn't take much for them to do it. I feel like Baltimore's been one team that has been tough to project usage for, because it's like, okay, they need to win, but if they go up by 3 touchdowns, you'd have to think they're going to pull some of their guys. So yeah, and you have to. I mean, they're maybe the most run heavy team in football to begin with, or one of them. To put them in a 3 touchdown favorite spot, like the Blitz is just projecting them to run the ball like a billion times.
Fantastic. That bodes well for, before we get to the first release, I have tried to cover every last touchdown score on that running back stable of Baltimore. So I've gotten Keaton Mitchell, who did the closeout stuff last week. Rasheen Ali. Yeah, I got him at like 28-1. And then someone in the chat earlier today told me, they're like, don't forget about Patrick Ricard, because that would be the worst if they fullback last touchdowns. You know what he's paying for last TD?
It's got to be a lot.
80-1.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. When usually like the number for like guys who are kind of on the fringe this week, they're somewhere in like the 20 to 25 range. But let's get to it. A late ad. We moved off Judy because Judy was moving significantly. Was at 48.5 today, then jumped up to 53. But we're on the reception market here. We're at 365. This is going to be a play. Let us know in the chat too if you're betting it somewhere else, where the number's going. If you're seeing something else, let's go Rashad Bateman, under 2.5 receptions, -120. That's a play. 1 target last week, 1 catch. Back-to-back weeks of 1 catch football. And if you're projecting them to run 8,000 times, like Bateman might not even see the second half, depending on how this game goes.
It is very possible that the starters are out at halftime here. If they're just destroying them, that could be what we see. I like Bateman. Like, he's had a breakout year, especially of late. He's been coming on strong. I feel like people don't want to bet unders on Bateman, but you look at what he's been doing. Last week, like you said, 1 target. The last 3 weeks, he only has a 14% target share, which is about in line with what he's done over the course of the whole season. They're still going to Flowers. They have their 2 tight ends. Aguilar is healthy this week, and need to throw the ball much here anyway. This should, and this should line up as them running the ball a lot and pulling their stars late in the game. That's what we're hoping for. Hopefully he doesn't get there early while they're building their lead, but I think we're being offered good enough odds relative to the projection that this looks like a good one to me.
Last 6 games, 9 catches, 4 touchdowns. Like, it usually shadows when you have guys who make big yard touchdowns like he's had. It kind of overshadows sometimes what the volume is in terms of his target share. He's certainly not a target share guy. So minus 115.
If he wants to catch the ball for 90 yards, that's perfect. I would be fine with that.
That would help the cause.
The receptions is what we care about here.
All right. So that's the only drop on this game, correct? We got a lot of moving pieces. Yes, that's the only one for that game. All right. So then we go to Saturday's second game. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, currently Pittsburgh +2, total 48. Somehow, Chase Brown might play. Like, he's questionable. I don't understand why people are giving a market for him, right? Like, it's kind of in their best interest not to offer this market. But let's get to it. We're at MGM. It's going to be a play. Are we doing that one first?
We can do that one first. I think Mick's saying one of our other ones is off the board now, which is just great because I liked that one.
Oh, is he in the private chat? Oh,
yeah.
So that is okay. So yeah. So my mistake turned out to be the right way anyway. Let's go to MGM. Let's go to rushing yards. 68.5. It's moving, but we're there. This is going to be where are we for this? Lean or play? Now that we've lost
we're play on this one.
Still play. Chase Brown under 68.5 rushing yards. Let's go. Chase Brown under 68.5 rushing yards. Minus 110 here at BetMGM. Let me know in the chat where you're seeing it. If it's somewhere else, if it's a different number. I don't think he will play. And that's kind of where it is, right? Like, you have a lot of backup within this. If he doesn't play, then it's void. Ta-da. But if he does play, there's a ton of avenues where he doesn't have full workload. He re-injures himself. Cincinnati's piss poor defense makes Joe Burrow have to throw the ball 45 times again. There's plenty of avenues not to get to 70 yards for a guy who looked like he seriously injured himself last week.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what this comes down to. He's had a massive workload since Zach Moss went down in the middle of the year. But this week, coming off the injury, might not be 100%. Might re-injure himself. They might have to spell him more. Lots of ways for him to hit the under here. So I like this one.
And you'd think if Zach Taylor and that offense were trying to slowly bring him into the offense, it would be more, all right, Khalil, here's the first down carry work, and then Chase Brown gets maybe some third down work.
Yep, they could definitely do that. And this is kind of a must-win game for the Bengals. So, like, if he can play, they probably want him to play. But maybe they just use him, not as heavily. Yeah, which would be great.
And it's not like they use a lot of roster space for their running backs anyway, right? Like, as you mentioned, once Zach Moss went down, this was a guy getting 95% RB opportunities over a pretty good sample of like 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, we hope he doesn't get that in this game, but I think there's lots of ways he doesn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. And I think what was the last week's game? Last week's game was who did they play last week? Help me out there, chat. Who did Cincinnati play last week? And I'm losing it because his prop market was insane, right? Yeah. So why can't I find it? Because it was up there in the 90s, I believe, for his rushing. I mean, his touchdown was like minus 250. It was Kyron. Yeah, Denver. Okay, thank you, LD Yanks. Good to see you. But his touchdown was in the Kyron Williams area where not a lot of people are. But sometimes when it jumps up like that, it's weird for it to come back. Same with the Jerry Jeudy thing. So the Jerry Jeudy, I know there's some people who want to bet it. The Jerry Jeudy situation was DTR start. His number didn't change that much. One DTR start, his number dropped like 20 yards, and then he went for 94. So it shows what the mess is that a book can be. Oh, we need to change this dramatically. Well, maybe not. So hopefully not a lot coming out of him. So Drew Sample is OTB. Is that what we're saying?
That is what Mick is telling us. So if that's the case, then we just scratch that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hold it, and hopefully it releases, and we can release it as a social. I don't know how widely available it is right now. He is questionable in this game. It's a great play, plus 195. So hopefully we'll find it. Hopefully it pops up. But keep an eye on it. If we can release it live, then we'll release it live. Yeah. But another great one here. And a number that really hasn't moved. It moved 1 yard today. Bet365. Same game. Receiving yards. Mike Williams. Was it 15.5 now? 14.5. That is still a play to the under. 14.5 yards, minus 110. We released the under 1.5 receiving or 1.5 receptions last week. That was easy. He had 0 catches. But if you were like me, who also had his under 15.5 yards, you probably didn't see it. 2-minute offense right before the half, caught like an 18-yard pass, but he didn't keep his feet in bounds. It was ruled a catch. It was ruled a catch, and then they tried to get up to the line, but the booth from up above called it off. It was a sweaty one, but he's just not part of this offense right now. You're seeing guys like Jalen Warren get way more of a run within this offense. You're seeing a lot more passing to the backs. And Russell Wilson just struggling to get the ball out. He hasn't looked great. Like if you tried to watch the George Pickett's game, like there wasn't a lot to go around. Higgins questionable. Yoshavash nailed it. Worth a look like that from 10 PK Kids. Interesting to see. I know you should have the numbers right there. Where is your Joe Burrow look? It was only a week ago that we were on his over attempts or over completions?
I think we took the attempts, but either one, it would have liked. Not showing a lot of value on either one this week. Kind of a no play there. Yeah. I think the attempts line is 39.5 this week, whereas we got it at 36 or 37, I think, last week. So
and it was moving up, right? It was lower. It opened lower. Yeah. Okay. So that's the Saturday card. Now we go to what's going to be arguably the most bet on game of the year. It's
wait, did we? Oh, we did the Mike Williams one. Okay, never mind. I want to make sure we got
Williams out, Brown's done, Bateman's in the books. We missed the sample one, but hopefully we can get that. But Sunday night, I don't think there's been a bigger total than the current 56.
It's massive.
I know. What was it? The other one would have only been Buffalo and Detroit, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Am I losing my mind? That would have been it. So, but it's somewhere in that vein. But it's going to be the most bet on game of the year with all the. Oh, there's Crazy Carl saying sample under 0.5 receptions plus 175 at DraftKings.
Yeah, I think DraftKings and one other book have it, but I don't like it quite as much at those odds.
Yeah, we had 20 points better, so hopefully that pops back up 365. But was 56? That total must have been somewhere around there. I mean, it's 90-point game. But yeah, 56 points is insane. And all of a sudden you get Goff indoors again, where it's not like he doesn't have a small sample of indoor games this year, Derek. Book should be able to kind of have a pretty good number for what he's doing. But what isn't priced in, and I was doing it for the Sunday night game preview, is the team's pass rate over the last 3 games because, A, the defense is awful, and Montgomery's out. Like they've gone from a top 10 run-heavy team to a bottom 10 run-heavy team over the last 3 weeks. And there's a lot of samples showing that I'm sure it's probably going to be good to go again this week. So let's go. Jared Goff. We're at Bet Rivers. This is a lean. That is okay. Never mind. I was looking at the top one. Let's go. Jared Goff on the over. 273.5 passing yards. Short quarterback. Jared Goff. Let me know if you're seeing that same number, if it's somewhere different where you are and the price you're paying for it. But, I mean, just a very simple thing. Let's take a look at his indoor splits because we say it a lot, and I don't think it's priced in as much. Averages 290 yards indoor games. He's 4-1 to the over on this at home over his last 5. And like I said, what's not priced in the most is probably the increased pass rate because they can't run Gibbs and Montgomery as much as they want to, obviously.
Yeah, that does not seem to be in here. Even the indoor stuff does not really seem to be in here that much. This market has been moving fast and strong. This opened as low as 266.5, and it's up as high as 280 at some books now. Yeah, this one is I like this one, but it's been moving quickly. If you got in earlier, I feel great. It's starting to move closer to the point. If someone's asking where I like this too, it's starting to move closer to the equilibrium point. I think if you're getting this like 277, 278 around minus 110 or so, minus 115, you're still looking pretty good here. Beyond that, we're more in lean territory or avoid territory once it gets over 280, I think.
3 touchdowns plus 175. That's what I'm betting in this. But with that same idea of like, here's a team that is not running the ball as much. Minnesota is a very difficult defense to run against, and the defense is just so bad for Detroit with 11 guys on the shelf that they have to pass their way out of trouble. And Jared Goff can do that. So he's got, what was the number? I was trying to figure out like what's the ratio of rushing touchdowns to passing touchdowns for the team. 5. It's 14-5 over the last 4 games. Passing touchdowns to rushing touchdowns. And you know that the number of rushing touchdowns by running backs this year is up significantly, right? So Interesting to see. Lots of scoring, majority of it coming through the air, the hands of Jared Goff. Let's go from there to the other quarterback. Make everybody happy. This is a good plus money play. Whether you like to play these interception markets or not, like just even box scoring this. Sam Darnold is 5-2 to the under in this over his last 7 games. Let's go. Under interceptions. Sam plus 116. That's a play. Facing a defense that, like I said, very thin talent-wise. And teams are absolutely putting up points. I mean, Detroit's put up 150 points over the last 4 weeks. Sam Darnold, plus 116. I didn't expect to see it at that price. When you sent it to me in the text, I was expecting it to see a minus and that number 116. Yeah. But plus money is pretty big here. Yeah,
they're giving us a good price on it. Like Darnold's going to have to throw the ball plenty in this game. But like you said, he's a legitimately good quarterback at this point. I think we can say it. Not a guy who throws a ton of picks. We're looking at like 55 to 60% winner here at plus 116. So I'm into this.
I mean, his supporting cast is just incredible too,
really
right?
Good, yeah.
Jordan Addison is a touchdown machine. He might be one of the most underrated number 2s in all of football. And I know you still like guys like Jalen Naylor. TJ Hawkinson's starting to kind of come around here. It's shaping up, as we see in the chat. Excited to see the game of the year. They got it. They still got to beat the Buffalo-Detroit game for game of the year, but this one could certainly be it, especially with everything on the line. The difference between 1st and 5th as a winning team, as both these guys are. What is the yards projection for Goff? Good question from Andrew Katz. I'm guessing just sub 3.
Yeah. The previous question, minus 105, that's probably a lean at that point for me. As far as Goff's yardage projection, we're looking at, I think it's like 300-ish. 308.
308. There you go. Any questions before we get going as we wrap up a regular season of releases from the Blitz on NFL Prop Picks here at Covers? Anything else there, especially just for these primetime games? I know Derek's been busy today, but out of the gate, Rashad Bateman under 2.5 at minus 120. Absolutely love that play considering what they've done with him of late and the projected game script within that game. Cincinnati-Pittsburgh. We got some Chase Brown under, so hopefully plays small role in that spot. Mike Williams under 14.5 receiving yards, minus 110. We're on the under receptions last week. That's plummeted, but still a good value here on the yards. Missed some Drew Sample. Hopefully we can get that at a good number. Probably plus 190 would be nice. And then the Sunday night game of the end of the season. Let's go. Sam Darnold, no interception at plus money. And Jared Goff over 273.5. Passing yards minus 115 with the projection of about 308 for the Detroit quarterback. Chris Gregory said, what was the sample play? We kind of mentioned it, but we kind of want to wait to see if it opens. We don't want you guys to nuke our number so we can kind of drop it. Like if you go back in the chat, it's there. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
we're off by like 20 points, but like hopefully it reopens somewhere to 10 points to where Derek had it priced there. There's not a lot of Drew sample props out there. I'll also lead with that.
Yeah, no, but hopefully we get that one back somewhere.
Did you go over Denver props versus KC backups? No, that was not in the cards. It's just standalone games there, Augie.
Yeah, we're just doing the island games here on the show.
Yeah, and after you kind of hinted, I kind of hinted it. Actually, I get it. Also, no interest talking about the KC backups, right? Like, even, like just the Baltimore game was hard enough to figure out. Like, it's a disaster of a game. And what Derek's taught me, and one thing I've learned: high variance, take some swings, because that's what it is. Week 18, the week of swings. Take some big shots there. Last TDs. Patrick Ricard. We'll leave on that. Patrick Ricard, 80-1. Why not? Why not on Saturday? Pay for your Saturday tabs. I'm a Finns fan. Being a Carson Wentz fan for a day is going to take years off my life. I think being a Finns fan has probably already taken years off your life anyway. So I think you can handle one more week. I mean, you've cheered for Skylar Thompson in a playoff game. Yeah. All right, fair. Oh, appreciate it, Russian. Appreciate everybody there in the chat, especially all the ones that have been there for a long time. Baseball season is around the corner, too. Don't forget that. But appreciate everybody there. Appreciate Derek coming in. End of Friday. Let's have a weekend. Week 18 releases in the books. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is NFL Prop Picks powered by the Blitz on Covers.